We're going to stand up for the pledge.
Because I asked the Girl Scouts to come over and lead us in our pledge. So I'm going to hand it over to them.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
January, we'll be here.
Be gone, Ruffians. Be gone.
So I am going to go out of order a little bit. We have a couple of our guests that are have been going since early this morning, so I'd like to give them a chance to kind of get out of here. So first I'd like to invite Ms. Gaines up from our school district, if that's okay.
I'm in no rush.
Oh.
You don't have to take me out if you don't
Oh,
want.
well then we will not do that. I'd actually like to invite Dr. Smith up from the Mojave Inner Space Board.
Hey, Dr. Smith. No, I love you all the time.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Hey, it's great to be out here with y'all and talk just a little bit about a place, a neighbor, a mission partner, Mojave Air and Spaceport. But I thought what I'd do, since I know something about me, is I'll just turn it around, make it all about me. Actually, what made me think differently was when I saw the Girl Scouts come in and lead that pledge. So, true story that touches my heart. As a kid, my father subscribed to National Geographic. And I would voraciously grab that magazine, living back in Hawaii at a place called Fort Shafter, every time it came in, because I was passionately following a series of articles. These crazy people in the high desert of California at a place called Edwards Air Force Base were flying something higher and faster than ever had been done in the history of the world, an aircraft called the X-15. And virtually through the magazine, I met Pete Knight and Crossfield and Armstrong and these great people in aviation. And I thought, you know, in life, if somehow I could touch that, maybe that would give me that feeling of being strangely complete. And I'm certain all these young Girl Scouts that came in here all have their series of dreams, and many of us did as we were growing up. And as life happened, I joined the United States Air Force. Went into flight school, was flying B-52s, was going to apply to test pilot school, and I got told, "Nah, you're not an engineer." Back then, my chemistry degree wasn't substantial enough. We wanted a disciplined engineer. Now, a pure science degree will get you through the door, but it was a different world. So, as often many of us do in life, we take that dream and we put it in a box, we shove it in the back of the closet. Maybe we throw some clothes on top of it so we don't have to look at it. And we just move on. And that's what we did. And I was at a place, another neighbor to all of us here, called Fort Irwin, doing 3 years with the Army. And by the way, stationed with the Army, the soldiers are amazing, but it is absolutely Air Force appreciation time. You know, there is a different lifestyle and standard there. But God bless what the soldiers go through for this country. So as I'm about to leave, I get a phone call from my personal list, and they said, my call sign's Jester. "Hey Jester, we got an interesting by-name request for you from a guy you might know named Ernie Bunch." And I said, "Oh yeah, I knew Ernie at Fairchild, we flew together." And he said, "Well, Arnie wants you to come to Edwards, do experimental flight tests, and run the B-52 Avionics Midlife Improvement Program." And I said, "I gotcha. I'm not a test pilot school graduate, so I can't do experimental work. I can do operational work." And he said, "No, we got it all worked out. You're going to go to National Test Pilot School at Mojave. We're going to get you certified and credentialed. You're going to come to Edwards and join the flight test community." I thought about the opportunity for about 1/10 of a second and said yes. And you know, sometimes you kick that box out of the closet and you open it up and you celebrate. So I got to be part of this unique community called Flight Test, and flew at Edwards for about 10 years, retired from active duty, became the installation director there as a civilian. Then I went down and took over and ran Plant 42 for a while. And then this very rare opportunity came to go up to Mojave and take over the Air and Spaceport. Now, I love my experience as a government employee. I love my experience in the active duty. I'm still a guardsman. I love my experience with the Guard. But the opportunity to truly be in charge of something, I cherished. So jumping up there, now let's move from a story of a child to Mojave Air and Spaceport. So I want you to envision it's 1942. You're a Marine Corps pilot lined up in the runway in your F-4U Corsair, and you push those throttles up and you roar down that runway at Mojave, because that's where you're doing your training to deploy to the Pacific Theater and go to war. But at about 30 or 40 knots down the runway, something odd happens and that aircraft kind of morphs and it becomes Voyager in test flights to attempt to fly around the entire world unrefueled, which it did successfully, launching out of Edwards. And imagine I will be at Dick Rutan, the pilot of Voyager's funeral, in a week and a half over at Arlington. He's being retired with interred with full military honors. But imagine the clearance he got from the tower at Edwards Air Force Base. Voyager 1, you're cleared Edwards to Edwards the hard way. That's all they gave him. And a few more knots later, Voyager becomes White Knight 1, with Spaceship 1 hanging underneath it. And they take off, and they win the Ansari Prize by having the first totally civilian entity go to outer space. And a few minutes later, that thing is Boom Aerospace that takes a supersonic airline representative model and flies it at Mojave for about 4 months between first flight and its 8th supersonic sortie, and puts the program to bed, and they're in production building an airline on the East Coast of the United States, actually Colorado. All out of this little tiny mission partner here called Mojave. Yeah. And we jump ahead, and just when you're about to rotate, the airplane gets a lot bigger. And it's Rock, the world's biggest aircraft with the world's biggest payload capability. 385-foot wingspan. I thought my B-52 was big. You park two B-52s wingtip to wingtip, they're not as big as Rock. It's truly amazing, and it's launching a hypersonic system called Talon, which is fully recoverable. So they take off from Mojave, they launch Talon. Talon goes to excess of Mach 5, lands at Vandenberg Air Force Base. We put it on a truck, we take it back to Mojave, we clean it off, recondition it, we put it back on Rock, and we do it again. So folks, there's a real national need for that, because in the world we have today, if you believe what Deng Xiaoping said about 2027, that he is going to reunite the Chinas, that Taiwan is going to fall under his control. I don't know what that will look like, but I do know that we have allowed ourselves to slip way behind on hypersonics. Well, our little neighborhood of Mojave is going a real long way to close that gap and put us in a competitive infrastructure with any of our near-peer competitors. And I believe that's essential, not just for the Mojave Air and Spaceport, it's essential for the United States of America, and it's essential for the free world. So what do we have at this tiny town of Mojave in closing? We've got a community that struggles with welfare. We got a community that has limited business opportunities when the freeway was rerouted around it, and they now don't get the throughput they used to. But within that wonderful little hovel, we have this Air and Spaceport. We have about 3,000 mission partners with about 60 different companies out there that I have the very rare opportunity to kind of choreograph into a team under a very lean staff at Mojave Air and Spaceport. So what we do is we deliver creativity, we deliver innovation, we do it faster, cheaper, better than my friends at Edwards and Palmdale. Why? Because I ran them both, and I speak from experience. And it doesn't mean they're wrong, It means that we operate in the world of free enterprise with unbridled ability to excel. They operate in a world, well, I'll still say we when I refer to Edwards, Palmdale, China Lake, etc., of pretty heavy oversight, which is not a bad thing, but at times we have to deliver stuff to a warfighter out there so the warfighter doesn't die, right? Our dream is at the end of a conflict, our warfighters run off that C-17 on the ramp into the arms of their loved ones versus being carried off by 6 of their newest rescues. So I just am so honored to share a few minutes with you about Mojave and Spaceport, this little billion-dollar enterprise in the middle of nowhere, the largest provider of living wage jobs in East Kern, and we're excited to do that for our community and for this country. So if I have a moment, I'd be happy to take a question or two, and then I unfortunately have another appointment tonight, so I'm going to get out of your hair, and been a real honor to be with y'all. So what can I tell you about Mojave?
How many jobs are there on site currently?
About 3,000.
And
I'm sorry? So I can't speak to all my mission partners. I know Scaled Composites is hiring. I know Strato Launch, which flies that big airplane Rock, is hiring. They always have open recs looking for different things. My particular staff that runs the airport and all the infrastructure, we're very much like a little tiny Air Force base for people that have Air Force experience. You know, my staff has an HR department, my staff has a civil engineering department, my staff has an engineering department, my staff has all the different factors that we have in our Big Brothers operation right here at Edwards. So we have all that at Mojave, and my staff right now, very lean but full. Many of our mission partners are hiring regularly. By the way, we had a big job fair there today. Very heavily attended. Very nicely done. Anything else? Yes, please.
There have been quite a few comments on Ion Rosamond. It is a Facebook chat page in regards to the uptick in sonic booms that we have been having in this area. Some of them to the point where they are rattling our windows. Is that coming from the airport, or the spaceport, or is that coming from Edwards Air Force Base? And which one is it doing?
So I will tell you something. This, by the way, is a true story, but it's intended to be a little humorous.
Okay.
When I was the installation director for Edwards, our plan with the Edwards Public Affairs, when we got a complaint about a sonic boom, it was China Lake that did it. But that's okay, because China Lake's chief of public affairs I knew very well, and their executive director, my peer up there, said, well, we do the same thing. We get a call, it's Edwards. You know, they did. Mojave Air and Spaceport, unlikely. We use the same airspace at the great courtesy of Edwards, working with the 2508 complex board. So we use the same airspace, we use the same supersonic corridors when we need to do that. But our missions that go supersonic less and less frequently. So an example of boom supersonic is, it flew supersonic 8 times to complete its program. I like to jokingly say, boom supersonic is the beginning of time travel, because you'll be able to get on an airplane in New York and based on your watch, land in Los Angeles before you took off. Mm-hmm. So I think that's pretty cool, right? Boom is going to do that. And Boom is not the same as a program called X-59 down at Plant 42. Different technologies, but extremely similar. Boom's supersonic signature was much less dynamic than most of the supersonic sorties we get here. So although it had a robust sonic boom, it was not like an F-16's sonic boom, more muted. So we have that reduced capability. So a nice way of saying, now that I run Mojave, if my phone rings and says, whose sonic boom was that? It's Edwards of the Navy. Those DOD guys. They're always out of control. Now, we work together on these things, and through the 2508 board, we actually are very cautious about that. And we try never to go supersonic after hours. We had a major complaint last week of about 3 a.m. We had a pretty loud boom, shook a lot of houses. So, yeah.
We have a lot of people sent the dogs off.
So, good question.
Thank you.
But I will tell you, all 3 enterprises that have the capability of going supersonic, we work very hard to be good stewards with the community.
Yeah, I don't mind, but yeah.
You know, years ago, the Air Force had a commercial that they actually stopped using. And what it was it's like dawn, and there's this big roar of jet noise, and this child runs to the window, and the mother comes over and comforts him. And then it says, sound of freedom. Recruiting went down. People aren't excited about the idea of waking up at dawn to go to work. Can we do this around 9-ish? You know? The Army had a similar thing in a series of Army commercials where they were out there in the woods and there's a campfire and it's 3 a.m. and they're making coffee in the field. And the caption was, you might remember this, it's the Army. We do more before dawn than most people do all day. Recruiting went right in the toilet. Young American men and women didn't like the idea of doing more before dawn. You know what did work for the Army? Was their Army of One philosophy. Rather than stressing the team, let's stress the individual. And that resonates with today's youth. The idea that I can be an individual. I would offer there's no more incorrect place to be an individual than in this nation's military forces. You have to be a team. There is absolutely nothing we do alone. I never flew a bomber without a string of maintainers out there all night long before I showed up to that airplane. Anything else?
So my last question would be, if we had teenagers, what direction would you recommend, like our seniors, to go in college if they wanted to work at the Space Camp one day?
So engineering is always a wonderful way to go, and here's why. Not that everybody's, you know, the two sides of the brain, there's plenty of room out there for soft skills, soft talents, that's wonderful too. But if you have the capability to exploit the technical side, you can always choose a career in the non-technical side. You can always move there, but the technical side, you can't have the non-technical experience and slide to that side. So I encourage people to at least think about that, at least get exposed in that. When we do work with much younger children at Mojave as part of our STEM initiatives, my goal is that when they're small enough, 5, 6, 7, we're getting them understanding that technical stuff is cool and it's okay before their friends and peers tell them that, oh, you don't want to do that, you won't be popular. Right? We want them to realize, no, I can be popular and do math. I can be popular and do science. And you know what? I can be popular and love art. It doesn't have to be engineering, it just opens up more options.
Thank you.
Did you bring any cards?
I'm sorry?
Did you bring any cards?
I did. I had this deck of cards right here. They came from the card room up the street. Play a little blackjack in the corner.
Yeah, can you go ahead and give it to them and they can post it on the site for us?
Sure.
And then that way we can share it to our seniors.
Good. And I love to work with the groups in the community that may want to take a closer look at Mojave Air and Spaceport. Something I really love about driving to work is the poster right there as you enter the spaceport is a child throwing an airplane. And the caption is, "Imagination flies here." And that is so true, because I think if we were trying to build Voyager in a government-sponsored program, we'd still be in critical design and we would have never flunked. But the Rutans took it around the world dozens of years ago.
I'm president of the local historical society, and you would be fabulous to come to one of our meetings and be our speaker and talk about the history of the hobby.
I'd be so honored to come out. Please grab one of my cards.
I will.
And I'll have you talk to Nicole, because I find that when I book my own stuff, I tend to do it wrong and Nicole yells at me.
That's
She's my exact, she's my boss.
Nicole.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah,
Gretchen, I have that email.
she is absolutely wonderful.
I have the
You
email.
have his email? Okay.
Yeah, I'd be honored.
That would be wonderful.
So my get off the stage comment will be very simple. The motto at Mojave, anybody know what it is?
The motto of that at Mojave.
Yeah, the motto of the Air and Space
Oh,
Corps.
motto, not motto.
Permission granted. So, you want to do something a little unique, permission granted. You want to expand your envelope, permission granted. You want to try to develop a new composite structure, permission granted. We do it at Mojave. Thank you so much for letting me spend a few minutes with y'all. It's such an honor.
Thank you very much. I got to hear that twice in a week.
Uh-oh.
Thanks, sir. All right. We're going to head back into the actual agenda. We're going to open up for public comment. This is a chance for anyone in the community to spend up to 3 minutes sharing any questions or concerns you may or may not have. We do have the ability to ask clarifying questions, but we don't actually have the ability to vote on anything today. So any public members are welcome to address us at this point. Okay.
Kelly, I'd like to thank Sharon for all the work she's been doing in Roseman. You guys haven't noticed all the stuff that's been cleaned up and stuff. Really appreciate this for me. It's really good.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, we're gonna actually go to Karen next.
Me, or is it warm in here?
It's warm in here.
Okay. So I'm Karen Sanders. I'm the Eastern representative for Kern County Board of Supervisors, District 2, Chris Harlow. He has half of the county. The county has 5 districts, and District 2 is about half of it. The county's 8,000 square miles. District 2 is 3,900 square miles. We touch 5 other counties just in this part of Kern County. So I'm happy to be his representative. I do have some brochures today. I can leave them for you, or if you'd like one, I'll just hand one to you directly if you want it. And then I also have my business card. Anytime you have a problem with streets, roads, your neighbor's dogs, dilapidated structures, that kind of thing, you can call me and let me know. Last week, Fran and I took a drive around Rosemont, and we found about, I want to say about 12 or 14 sites that either needed cleanup or attention of some kind. And I'm happy to say that even though the work isn't done, they've all been directed to the appropriate departments within the county, so the work can get done. The roads department has finished a project with the pedestrian path going down 20th Street, just that way. I did get to see the whole thing today, and I think they did a really great job. We're trying to work with them on some dots, or dot bots, or whatever they're called, for intersections in the rural part of Rosemont, because they're isolated, it's dark, people fly like crazy people down the road, and so we're hoping. And Joel, God bless him, he knows all the people to contact now, and so it's been really great working with him. Also, next month in October, the 3rd Thursday, I will be here at Hummel Hall from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock for mobile office hours. So we'll get a corrected flyer. This one that I have is not right, and I just noticed it this afternoon. But we'll get a corrected flyer. So if you or any of your friends or neighbors have questions or need more information, I'll be here to help you with that. And maybe we can ask our friend Matt Bauer with Congressman Fong's office to come and meet here as well. We'll talk about that. But anyway, that's it. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
I brought this question up to Joel, and to give you a heads up, that normally we have representatives from the Kern County Sheriff's Department and the California Highway Patrol, and they give us monthly kind of like updates and incidents as to things that were happening. Since we don't have a representative that comes to visit us from the Kern County Fire Department, my question was to ask if it was possible for you or your staff, or Zach, or not Zach, sorry, Chris, sorry, to get that information and provide that information to us on a monthly basis here at the Rmac meeting, so we have an idea as to what the Kern County Fire Department is doing in our area.
Yes, ma'am, and first thing I'll do is make sure that they have an invitation, which I'm sure that they do. But staffing is always an issue.
No, but I was
No, I
suggesting
got
that
you.
since they can't come, if that's something that information you can get.
Yes.
Or Chris can come, you know, when you guys come and visit us, and you guys are always here every month, that you could provide that information to us.
I'll work on that for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? All right.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, we're going to the Roseman Chamber of Commerce. I've got a crush on her.
You're married. I'm telling you why.
So the biggest things are we have started the monthly luncheons again at a solid place instead of going to different restaurants around town. So it's now going to be at Coach's the third Thursday of the month at 3 o'clock instead of noon. We had the first one today there, great turnout. Our speaker was phenomenal, gave a great presentation, the crime prevention unit. Sheriffs were there, lots of different entities. Lots of members from the high school were there, so that was awesome. And then Saturday is our Armed Forces Day parade. 9 o'clock to 3. The actual parade starts at 11. Chris Parley will be our Grand Marshal. John Jorgensen, he is going to sing our national anthem. He's heavily involved with the Queens. His daughter is a Queen. Our judges this year will be Mario Gutierrez, who's on the school board. We have an Eagle Scout, and we have David from
on the scene for Pastor of the Session.
Yes, he is also going to be giving the invocation, not inauguration. I don't know why I keep getting those two mixed up. And then, yeah, it's going to be really good. And then on the 7th of October, we have our National Night Out. That is going to be at the West Park where the pool is. So lots of county and state entities are going to be there. Lots of nonprofits, the sheriffs, all of the people. And then the trunk or treat in October again is going to be at Grocery Outlet. I'm just putting that on again. Last year we had over 600 kids show up. And we're also doing a haunted house this year. So one side of the parking lot is going to be trunk or treat, the other side of the parking lot is going to be a haunted house that's going to be fully built. So we're really excited. And that's all I have right now. Yes.
The parade, what is the route it's going to take from start to finish?
So it's going to be the same route as the Christmas parade. We can no longer cross Roseman Boulevard. So they're going to be here at Hama Hall with Joel. He's going to get them all set up on Orange. They're going to go down Diamond, turn to Locust, come up, what's this? Desert Street. And then they're going to go back onto Diamond and they're going to line up. So all of the floats, the queens, the cadet corps, the band, everybody's going to line up at the end. That way people can take pictures. The parents can come just grab their kids instead of having to come back to Hama Hall. And they'll do the judging. Kelly's gonna announce again. So it's gonna be really good. This is our I want to say
It's like 40th year.
40th year, and the Queens did pick our theme this year, so it's gonna be fun. It's been a lot of work, a lot of hours. And then next week, the Christmas parade has already been in planning for months and months, but the registration for the Christmas presents, that's been up, but it hasn't been getting some traction, so we're gonna put that out again next week. And the planning meetings are open to everybody, so if you wanna come to the planning meetings, they're always at the chamber, around 6 o'clock. When's the next one that you're free for? Probably Wednesday at 6 at the chamber, because we're gonna do the next planning meeting. So,
And the floats have to be there, or the parade participants have to be there at what time?
9 o'clock.
9. Okay.
And it starts at 11.
It starts at 11. They'll set up, just like the Christmas parade, right on Diamond Street, in front of the chamber. And that'll start at 9. There'll be food trucks, kids crafts, coloring pages, stuff for the kids. Free jumpers for the kids, that's always free for at 9 o'clock. And then our sponsors are fixed, all of our sponsors will be there at 9. So, yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'd like the American Red Cross.
Hey everybody, Lester Fusel with the current Eastern Sierra chapter of the American Red Cross. I get to come out here and flaunt my new title. I do a lot of things in the Red Cross, as many of you know and the like, and I had my business cards made, and the Red Cross has finally acquiesced to purchasing my business cards for me, and decided it didn't want to print all those things there, so now they just call me the East Territory Lead. So that's pretty much it. But anyway, it's great to be here and see everybody again. First thing is, I handed everybody a piece of paper, and the piece of paper relates to this month, which is Disaster Preparedness Month. And I always talk about preparedness. We can always go out to the disasters, which the Red Cross does when we do mass care, setting up shelters, distributing emergency supplies, making sure people are fed, making sure they have water, they have medical support and other types of support. But it's important to be prepared before the disaster. When I work for the fire department, one of the things that we'd often say as part of our training is we don't bring victims to a fire. We don't bring victims to a rescue. So we drive carefully, even though expediently, to a fire. We do watch road safety. We do watch the traffic signals because it does us no good if we get in an accident and somebody's having a heart attack and we've got firefighters hurt. So we have to be careful with that. Same thing with firefighting. We have a 2 in, 2 out. 2 guys go in, 2 guys come out. And that way we make sure that there's a buddy system there in the event things going on. In terms of personal disaster preparedness, there are 3 things that we like to say in the Red Cross in terms of being Red Cross ready, and that's first, make a kit. The second one is have a plan, and then stay informed. And so the paperwork that I provide you helps spell those things out. And oftentimes I say those things, but you can always give acronyms, or you can always give quick little bits as to what you should do. But unless you have some written instruction in a lot of cases, you really don't know what to go on. And I remember at another meeting, I spoke about that, and I said, well, do you have a list in terms of what we should put in a kit? So I dig as I continually go and find more and more Red Cross handouts and the like. So this is one that I find that I hand out on my tabling events. I will be handing them out on the 7th. But again, it's important that you be prepared when an emergency or disaster hits. And that could be a flood, that could be an earthquake, that could be a fire, that could be a brush fire. And depending on the particular emergency is going to depend on the particular discipline, whether you're there and just shelter in place at home or whether you have to leave. But these are some tools that are going to help you be prepared. And the way I like to think about it is preparedness helps prevent anxiety. Preparedness helps reduce fear. If you know what to do, if you're prepared, then there are no gaps. There are no gaps in your head because you've got a checklist of things that you can do to prepare and be ready during the emergency and after. And remember, you've got sheriffs here, you've got the fire department, but in a major emergency with significant devastation, you're not going to see anybody to assist you for 72 hours.
And if it's significant enough and we have houses that are damaged and people have to come in shelters, we're gonna try to get in there within 4 to 6 hours to set up the shelter so we can provide housing, so we can do our feeding, provide health care as well, emotional and spiritual support. But it's incumbent upon you to do those things to take care of yourself, because if it doesn't get that grand, but power's out, there are other emergencies, you gotta take care of yourself for 72 hours. So this handout will kind of help you do that and be able to be self-sufficient and help reduce that anxiety, help reduce the calls to 911 or 211 as to what I'll do. You already know because the Red Cross has told you. So that's real good. Also, the other thing I'm gonna ask, if you know those things or if you have that handout, if you know somebody who you think can benefit from that information, don't just throw that away. Give it to them. So if you hold on to it for a while and just think, you know what, next time I see them, I'm gonna say, you know, I talked to this guy with the Red Cross, being prepared is important, I wanna hand this off to you. And tell them the same. And we'll get this paper moving around as if it's a glass bottle in the ocean and get people in Roseman all dialed in on being Red Cross ready. Because trust me, that's not only gonna help them, but it also helps the community and it helps the first responders, because you aren't a victim anymore, you're self-sufficient, and when the need arises, you can call them for something more serious rather than I've cut my arm. No, you can take care of that. Oh, my gas is leaking. You can take care of that. Oh, I don't have these things. No, yes, you do, because you've made the kit. You know what the communication is because you've downloaded Ready Curd. So you know what's happening with the disaster, you know where the evacuation shelters are, and you know what to do in the disaster. So there are tools available for you to be able to make you prepared in the event of these things. And actually, in July, and I haven't been here for I think last month, but in July we had a on-demand smoke detector event. I actually put it together. We had a gentleman with the Chamber of Commerce who joined us. So I had a Red Crosser with myself and a gentleman with the community, and we went out. We visited 8 homes. We installed 32 smoke detectors. We made 26 people in the community safely. And the significance about our smoke detector program is the installation of a working smoke detector helps increase survivability by 50%. Because we like to say, in today's atmosphere in the home, in a fire atmosphere, most fires will develop within 2 to 3 minutes to the point where you can't escape the house. And it is because of the materials that are being used in the construction of the home, as well the construction of your materials in the house. Most of it's plastic, so it's going to burn like a hydrocarbon. So again, working smoke detector helps increase survivability. Also, there are other tools that we teach, and that's what we did. We installed the smoke detectors. We talked to them a little bit about home fire safety, helped them make an escape plan or talk about an escape plan, and then we went on. So it always excites me about that, because that was kind of my start as a firefighter, obviously, and fatalities are no fun. We don't like seeing them in the Red Cross. I've experienced them out here, and if there's anything that I can do and that tool helps, then we're going to do it. So we're going to be doing more in the future, and I'm sure we're going to have more people in the future that are going to sign up, and as they do, we'll put together a list and set up another event. And I will be out here on the 7th on the night out. I was invited to come out, so I thought, I'd come out and hang out with Roseman again. They're always fun. So just no wind, okay? No wind. No wind. Okay? We did that Easter egg hunt thing and like in 40-mile-an-hour winds, and it was like 42 degrees outside. Yeah. But it was a blast just the same, but no wind, okay? So anyway, yeah, that's it. So is there any questions that anybody has of the Red Cross? Nope.
Thank you.
All right, sounds good. Well, it's good seeing everybody.
Next, we're going to invite our wonderful superintendent. I'm going to take a second just to brag on her. I am so thankful to have you here, leading our school district. I mean, I've been here since I was little, and I absolutely love having you around, and I hope that you stick around for as long as you want to. So, but Ms. Gaines, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
I'm good for you.
I'll just talk, just wait a minute and then I'll bring that up. I just want to kind of give a little update. New school year. Well, good evening. Thank you for allowing me to be here to present a little bit about Southern Kern Unified School District. We started August 13th. Our enrollment is very steady. You probably hear from other districts, maybe not, that the California is in declining enrollment for the most part. I would say probably across the nation. There are many districts that are in declining enrollment. That is not the case in Southern Kern. We have noticed though this year that Roseman High was at about 847 students last year. They're at 930 as of today. Roseman High, it has jumped. The elementaries have stayed kind of, West Park was at 1,000. They're at 958. So they have dropped a little bit, but the increase that we're seeing is at the secondary, at the high school. So we're excited about that. We love high school students too. Update, there is so much going on in Southern Kern. I could probably stand up here till midnight and keep you guys posted, but I know you don't want me to do that. But we are in the process of, if you live anywhere near West Park, you're probably seeing the dust stirring over there. What's going on? We're building 5 new buildings at West Park. There will be 2 classrooms in each building, and these are primarily for TKK classes. And so you're probably asking, well, where are those kids right now? Those kids are on the old Roseman Elementary campus. We call it the Satellite West Park campus. There are 6 classrooms of TK over here. I don't know if you've noticed the new blue wall around Roseman Elementary. I've had a lot of people tell me, I loved it. So we modernized 2 buildings at the old RES, 6 rooms total. My goal one day would be to finish that whole older campus there, but it takes a lot of money. We are in the process, maybe in the next 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, of building a new building on the high school campus. It's a new boys and girls locker room. It will be, if you've seen our new cafeteria, if you haven't, highly recommend that you see it. It was a $14 million project, and I literally have had people come from almost several districts down in the Antelope Valley who have wanted to feast on that new cafeteria, and we love it. We love to show it off. And so we're getting ready to start a new boys and girls locker room. It's already DSA approved, so we're just waiting for the bids to come in, and the day we'll open the bids. We are also then, as soon as that building, the two-sided building is finished, then we are going to go into the gym at Roseman High, and the current boys and girls locker room, and I can tell you, it's horrendous. It's so old. The lockers, I think, are even borderline dangerous because they're metal, and I always fear that the kids are going to get hurt on those lockers. So we're going to, this project is on its way into DSA. I think it's in DSA. It hasn't come out yet. We are going to turn the old boys locker room into a new weight room. The road runners need to be able to lift some weights, and the girls locker room will be turned into a dance studio. So we want to broaden the arts for our kids, so that's going on. And then last November during the election, the community of Roseman, thank you, passed a bond of $60 million. And one of the things that we talked about, a couple of the things that we talked about using those funds for, we haven't spent any of it yet, is one, a new CTE building, Career Technical Education building on Roseman High. This year we have now 14 CTE pathways at Roseman High Early College campus. I went to Antelope Valley School Board's meeting a few months ago, and they're still talking CTE down there. We have 14 pathways at Roseman High Early College campus. We're very, very excited. So we are in the design phase. Flewelling and Moody are our architects to design a new CTE building that will probably, we're guessing, be somewhere between 24 and $25 million. And the good thing is, thank you to the community, we have that money out of the $60 million. We've drawn, the first draw from that bond was 28 million. So we're going to start with the new CTE building. It'll include ag. Not all of the 14 pathways will be in that building, but we are putting 6 of them in there. We're gonna leave auto where it is. We're gonna leave welding where it is. We're gonna leave some of them where they are because their building is adequate for that pathway. But we're putting 6 of our pathways in the new building. And it's going to be very, very special. I don't want to give away the plan for that, but I think the community will be very, very proud of that building as well. So got the new building at West Park. If you're wondering what's going on at Tropico, the new buildings are all done, but we are landscaping the older side of Tropico. We're building a bridge, a little bridge for the students to walk over. New plants, new trees, new parking lot. Parking lot needs to be redone. So at every site, truly, there's something going on. So we're just very, very busy. And last thing is, one of the things we did not expect last year, we had a California Distinguished School in Southern Kern Unified School District. There were 4 distinguished schools in Kern County, I think 4 only, and West Park Elementary was one of them. So we're very, 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 very proud of that accomplishment. That means to be a California Distinguished School, test scores had to go up, and with all student populations, chronic absenteeism had to go down, suspensions down. They hardly had any suspensions at West Park. And the culture of the school had to be really, really a strong, viable culture where students are truly learning. So we were very, very happy that our West Park Elementary was named as a California Distinguished School. It's an award good for 2 years. So I try to give a little bit of a rundown as quickly as I could. Any questions for me? No? Okay, the reason I wanted to make sure I was here this evening is to give you guys a little present. Thank you. Just take you back a couple years to November when the Rosamond Municipal Advisory Council, the Chamber of Commerce, and Southern Kern Unified School District collaborated together to host the AV Wall, which is I think it's like one of 4 or 5 walls that were created as a replica of the Vietnam Wall. And we hosted this at the park at West Park Elementary for about 5 days. We had a phenomenal turnout. Many of you, as I'm looking around here, served on the committee. We met often, and I think we got a lot of positive feedback on that effort that the three entities did. And so this is sort of a keepsake of hosting, because this November at Veterans Day, the wall will return to the park. I forget the name of the park. On 30th, Marie Kerr, is it Marie Kerr? Yeah. And Rancho Vista Boulevard. And then after this Veterans Day, they plan to retire the wall. And so this was a plan, and I apologize. It's taken me long enough, and I deserve it, so give me those looks. But it's just that crazy busy. But I wanted the Rmac to have a version of it. Chamber got one. We will keep one in our superintendent's office or the boardroom. And this is for you, because we couldn't have done it without Rmac. And so hopefully you'll remember this and our year with the wall.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
They are asking for volunteers. Y'all volunteered last week, getting probably lots of you, and wanting us to come back and help.
Yeah, they do.
Can I mention something real quick? I was remiss in not letting you know the Roseman community member with said it was Jesse Furtado. I'm real bad on names, so sometimes I got to go back and look before I get that. But Jesse was amazing. Just jumped right in when I called him. Said, "Hey, I need an extra body." I tried to do that in the community. He came in. We had a great time, spent time. So kudos to the community. Kudos to him for helping, and your guys' support making this community safer.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to have the Anthem Valley citizens for the responsible use of water.
I'm Randy Scott, sorry, this was the water year in the state of California is from 1 October to 30 September, so we're almost through the water year. So far, Northern California is just a little over average, about 107% precipitation we're talking about. Central California about 79%, Southern California about 83%. The Emerald Valley area here, we're at about 52% of the normal average. So a bit lower this water year. We'll see what transpires starting the 1st of October. The snowpack is pretty low, as you would expect. We're right near the end of the summer. Hopefully that's going to pick up once the season starts. But overall, the reservoirs are actually doing pretty well. Most of them are at or above the historical average. They're not near capacity, but the historical average is usually what most of them go by as far as looking at what kind of quantities we're going to get in the future. The state of California, the Department of Water Resources, allocates a certain amount of water percentage each year of the allocation that goes out to all the state water contractors. The state water contractors in our area are AVEC, and then a little further south, Palmdale and Little Rock, and then there's a total of 28 throughout the state. So the allocation usually starts out kind of low, not sure what's going on as far as water supplies and everything like that. This year it was raised last March to 50% of the allocation to all the state water contractors, and that's usually more than enough. Very few of them ever use that much. Their customers, and so they never use that kind of water allocation. So this year they'll start out 1 October with some type of an allocation. Typically it's going to be low, and as they can go on, if the depending upon the snowpack turns out to be, depending upon rainfall and so on, they may raise it. So it's hard to know right now what it's going to be. It would surprise me if it was 10 to 20% an allocation. There's nothing to really worry about right now. Again, based upon the reservoirs, are doing pretty well. That's about it. Any questions?
The allocation of the water that comes to us, when, let's say we have a firehouse fires, or, multiple fires or grass fires or something like that, the water that's used is being used by the fire department. So that water that is being allocated to the residents is also being for the fire department, for the safety of the community. Is that water replaced? The amount of water that is used in order to fight natural disasters, is that being replaced for the residents, or is that just all in one allocation?
It's all in one allocation, yeah. But it goes to, well, like our CSD or Greg's here, they can explain that further. But they use that allocation and or additional supplies of water from the ground or whatever. And the allocation comes out of AVEC for a lot of the water suppliers. The County of LA or City of LA and so on and so forth.
But they do take that into consideration?
Yeah, that's just part of the basic supply of water.
Like if there's a natural something going on like that, they do take it so that, the suppliers don't get dinged and the communities don't get dinged with, increased costs?
No, it's just part of the basic supply, yeah. The allocation that goes to each particular water purveyor.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, sir. All right, next we're going to be Kern County Library. Amanda, do you have any updates for us?
Hi everyone. So I try to make it here when I can. We're a little short staffed, but I made it, so it's good. Nice to see everybody. So I'm Amanda Stevenson. I'm the supervisor of the Roseman Library. open 5 days a week from Tuesday to Saturday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday we're from 10 to 7, and Friday from 10 to 6, and Saturday from 10 to 4. And most of our programs have resumed, so we have a full programming schedule again. We have wonderful people renting our rooms again. We're welcoming back the Historical Society. So it's been very good. We had a great turnout for our first couple weeks. It's been pretty busy over there. So we love to see that. If you haven't stopped by yet, please come and check us out. And to that end, we have our grand reopening coming up this week. This Wednesday at 10:30, it'll start off with a press conference. At 11, there will be a ribbon cutting. We'll have a special story time following that. And then there's going to be an open house from 3 to 6 and a special performance, a magic performance at 4 o'clock. So if you can't get over there, please stop by and come visit us, whether you make it to the grand reopening or any other time. So we'll be very happy to see you guys. And I have flyers here for everybody. So I will leave them up here. All right. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we have Matt Bauer from Congressman Fong's office.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing? Sorry, I get to work for one with federal legislation now after so many interesting presentations. So first of all, thank you for having me. It's always great to be here and connect with the Roseland community. I wanted to touch a little bit on what you said about the new CTE building being built over there. That's great. We were lucky enough to have the congressman back home for a little bit last month, and during that time we held our skilled trades fair. So we had about 20 or so vendors from various skilled trade professions that were there to connect with around 125 high school students throughout our district. People from all the way from Wasco to Ridgecrest to Clovis came. Huge turnout, so very glad to see that same type of stuff popping up over here on this side of the district as well. Just as a quick little overview as to what's going on over in DC right now, the fiscal year ends on September 30th, and as is the tale as old as time in September, this whole month is all about appropriations and making sure the government doesn't shut down. So right now the House and Senate leadership are working on developing a CR to keep appropriations continued for the foreseeable future. We did have several provisions within the NDAA, the Milcon construction bill, as well as the defense appropriations bill that were very, very beneficial for our district, particularly over there in China Lake and Lemoore Naval Air Station. So hoping to keep as many of those provisions included in whatever CR ends up getting passed. So that's government funding. Additionally, I just wanted to mention 2 important bills that we recently introduced. The first is HR 4661, titled the America Drives Act, and this bill is designed to accommodate for the ever-growing commercial truck driver shortage here in America. Currently there are, as of 2021, the nation is short 80,000 truck drivers, and that's anticipated to double to 160,000 by the end of this decade, by 2030. So it's a very, very real issue that we're facing, especially in Eastern County, where commercial trucking is one of the main economic drivers. This bill is aimed at promoting the autonomous trucking industry by cementing regulatory framework to be more consistent across state lines, allowing that industry to flourish without as much red tape and without as much regulation. Additionally, this week the congressman introduced, or I believe it was actually reintroduced, it's the National Science Foundation AI Foundation, as well as promoting grants. I'll have to. If anyone's curious in this bill, I can talk about more with you later. I left my notes for it, but yeah. So those are the 2 main bills that we have going on right now. I think that's kind of about it. Like I said, we just came off the August recess, so the congressman's back here in the district, took them all throughout. out to Edwards Air Force Base to meet the new commander, which was very, very good. Looking forward to meeting with him. And yeah, I think that's all I got. So if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to talk about them.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. We do not have a quorum, so we're not able to discuss new business. However, we would like to invite Mr. Greg Wood. He is one of the directors from the RCSD. He's going to give us a real brief rundown on how they do some of the work that they do.
Wanted to stand, but I think I better sit down. Let me get my notes. And thank you to the Rmac board for allowing me to come and speak this evening. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Greg Wood. I'm on the Rosamond Community Service District Board of Directors. And I first was placed on the board in December of 1995. And off and on, lose my seat a couple of times, but I'm currently finishing up my 20th year on the board of directors for the Rosamond Community Service District. A little bit more about me is that I retired from Los Angeles County Sanitation Districts, who handles wastewater, sewage, and water reclamation. And I was with them for 37 years before I retired in 2016. So all in all, I have about 45 years in the water and wastewater and water reclamation field. And I really enjoy it. It was a career path that just kind of fell in my lap. It wasn't something I was thinking about, but it happened, and it's become a passion of mine over the years to learn as much about water, especially water in our valley here. You know, a lot of people, wonder what the RCSD is, which is the Rosamond Community Services District. And, so many times we hear people call them, oh, it's the water company. Well, it's much more than that. Rosamond Community Services District is what is called it's a special district, but a CSD is a district in California that has more than one power. There are many special districts in California, in fact over 2,000 of them. And they have different powers. Some fire district, library district, cemetery district, water district, sanitation, but they have one function, and that's all they concentrate on. For the Rosamond Community Services District, we have graffiti abatement, we have street lights, we have water, and we have sewage. The RCSD was created in 1966. And the reason for special districts is that unless you're a city, you depend upon the county to provide a lot of services to you. Yes, they provide road services, they provide sheriff, they provide fire, but they don't usually provide sewer and water. That is something that is done locally through either having a co-op with a well, which a lot of small outlying communities have. But the RCSD in 1966 formed itself with street lighting and sewer and water to provide those services to the community of Rosamond at that time. And it has grown since then. throughout the years, a lot of people don't realize, what the growth that's taken place. We went from approximately 600 hookups to over 5,000 today. And there was a little thing that happened in this valley in 1999. There was a lawsuit that was filed against the city of Lancaster, Rosamond, the city of Palmdale Water District, all of the agencies that pumped water in the Antelope Valley were sued by a couple of farming conglomerates. And essentially what it boiled down to is that we didn't know what they were suing us at first, because back in the early 1900s, the California Supreme Court had ruled that if you have a community of 100 people and you have a farm next to the community, and that community, and there's 100 acre-feet of water to split between the two of you. The community needs 100 acre-feet of water, the farmer needs 100 acre-feet of water. A Supreme Court ruling stated that the farmer gets the water over the people. So when the lawsuit was started in 1999, the attorneys really didn't know what they were after. But as it turned out, as the lawsuit drug on for 15 years, and it was essentially what they wanted to do is saying, if we put a well on our land, we can pump as much as we want and it's not going to have any effect on the rest of the valley. But we all knew that that was wrong, that water that you pump in the Little Rock Basin affects the water tables up here in Rosamond and vice versa, because it was proven that the entire Antelope Basin is just one giant shared water basin. And so essentially the result of this lawsuit was that they had to adjudicate the basin. And the best way to describe the adjudication of the basin is that they had to say, everybody has to pump less in order for the aquifers to replenish themselves and to get to a healthy yield. And the bottom line on that one, Rosamond was pumping their wells about 3,000 acre-feet of water at the time. And we were reduced to 403 acre-feet of water by the adjudication. So that means we had to go and find approximately 2,600 acre-feet of water to meet the community's needs. Well, we went out because of reduction in farming capacity because of the adjudication. We were able to go out and purchase water rights from people that didn't need that much water anymore. And another thing we were able to do too is our water reclamation plant. We were able to work with the Lahot Regional Board and take 100% of our wastewater, treat it to a denitrified, non-disinfected secondary, and build percolation basins right on site and let the water percolate, and then the water master is giving us approximately 1,300 acre-feet of water credits for our community. Bottom line is that the Rosamond Community Services Districts, through future planning and things that we have done to get around these obstacles, I can now say that we have enough water with our carryover water and our banked water and everything else to provide the needs of this community as it stands today for the next 50 years. And so this is one thing that I am most proud of, that nobody in this community needs to worry about running out of water, because we have been very proactive in working around that. And where we don't have to purchase any water. We've already got the water rights, so we can continue to pump like we always have. And then, thank goodness the community has done a great job in doing their conservation efforts, which has reduced our water intake even more. A lot of people wonder about our rates. And, people complain that, oh, our rates are so high. And you know what? Yes, water is expensive, but it's what goes into developing these rates. A lot of people don't realize that we don't pick a number out of the air. We actually hire a company to go out and look at all of our assets, look at all of our projected capital projects, and to come up with a number that they feel that we need to have our rates at in order to meet our current daily needs and meet our needs 5 years into the future. And, when we set our water rates, we have to justify what the rates are. If we set our water rates at $10, we have to justify that $10. We have to show on paper that this is what it costs for us to pump the water, this is what it costs for us to treat it, this is what it costs for us for maintenance, and if it comes out to $9.97, then that's what we can charge, is $9.97. We can't charge $10.03 or $10.05. And that's restricted by law. So in other words, the water rates that we have built into to maintain the system, provide the water, to replace aging systems as they need to be replaced, but more importantly, to put a little bit of money in reserves so we have money there to do these replacements. We have a lot of capital projects right now that are being paid for through reserves, out of the sewage treatment plant, and also keep your eyes out. If you don't see a meter on that fire hydrant, call it in. Call the sheriff, call the RCSD.
Is that just the meter on the fire hydrant or the meter on the vehicle that's pumping the water?
What a meter is, it's a unit about this long. It can be yellow or red, and it's essentially it's a vortex meter is what it is. It hooks onto the fire hydrant, and as the water goes through that meter, it calculates how much water they got from that fire hydrant.
It's already on the hydrants?
And then at the end of it doesn't stay on the fire hydrant, they keep it with them.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, but, I was married years ago to an individual that worked for a septic and sewer company. And a lot of times when they were working on job sites, they actually had a water truck. Now, I went with him, and we're talking late 1990s, early 2000s. But he has an actual key, he has the wrench, so he was able to remove the lip from the hydrant, put a hose on it, because they have it for septic sewer tanks, and then they have the water key. And so there was no meter on any of the hydrants that he used, but he was able to pump and fill up this great big huge water tank from the hydrant.
I can't speak for that, but if somebody is getting water other than the fire department, if somebody is getting water from a fire hydrant without a meter hooked up to it, then they're stealing water.
Is there something that we can do on the hydrants?
No.
Okay. See, that's what I was trying to get to, because he did it for work, when they were doing the obstructions and flushing out, septic tanks. So that's where, he was using a lot of the water to clean out the septic tanks that they were pumping and cleaning out septic tanks. So that might be a place you might want to look at.
Yeah. Or let's go ahead and wrap this up.
Okay.
I mean,
So anyhow, I just wanted to kind of let everybody know what the RCSB is, what they do for the community. And with that, I will take any questions that anybody might have about the Roseland Community Service District.
That was it.
perfect.
Hey, thank you,
That's
Greg.
really great. All right, so we are not able to approve minutes. So Director Thomas, anything?
Yeah, just the National Night Out, we're gonna have, I was gonna talk to Fallon to see if we could get our flyer out to the kids. There's gonna be the SWAT team, the CHP's bringing their toys, Edwards Air Force Security Force is gonna be out there, the Honor Guard, probation, youth services, they're gonna bring their toys and their cars and a lot of neat stuff, so. It's gonna be it's gonna be at West Park on October 7th.
You wouldn't go to Fallon.
Oh,
You wouldn't go to Fallon, you
Okay.
have to come to my office.
Okay, I'll send it over to your secretary then,
Yes,
Elma,
thank you.
see if you guys can put it out for us. A lot of neat stuff's gonna be there at the park.
What's the date?
Today is, the county with the MyKern app. If you're driving around, you see a pothole, you see trash, take a picture of it. You just gotta go in there and kind of do a little count, put your name and email, take a picture of it. It puts the address in there, sends it to the right people, and with 2 days, you'll get an email stating that it's been picked up, cleaned up, or sent to the appropriate person. It's an awesome app to use. Can't say enough about the MyKern app, so.
Perfect. Thank you, folks.